I was Eric Harris. I was talking with famous people, and I want to talk about the notion that I've insulted the prophet and the notion that one can't really blame a religion. One has difficulty finding who to blame when groups do bad things. One of the things that casual INTP, who is a Muslim who joined us and was kind enough to comment on things last night, indicated was that the blame should be placed upon the individuals in power, the Saudi royal family, the various Arab dictators and leaders and such that, as he indicated, that they promote a warped and wrong version of Islam. So that's one possible source of person to which you can direct your anger, but I think it's disingenuous and it's only contributing to the problem of a lack of individual accountability. The fact is, in Egypt, when they arrest that atheist and put him in prison or something, it's not they do that despite an indifferent populace. It's not they do that against the wishes of the populace. It's not they do that in against the backdrop of a general approval of the general populace. They do it against the backdrop of the general populace demanding blood for the atrocity committed by the atheist. What was the atrocity committed? It was believing the wrong thing. It was
But do you
internal mental processes, right?
think the
So
general population has that sentiment? Because I don't think the general population here, I don't think anyone would think it's justified to throw someone in jail for life, no matter how much weed they have.
no, I'm drawing that distinction. That, for example, bad shit like that happens in the U.S., but most people don't approve of that.
Right.
Bad shit like that happens to atheists in Egypt because massive crowds of people demonstrate demanding justice for the prophet because somebody insulted him. Right? When there was innocence of the Muslims, that video that came out that everybody got so upset about, massive demonstrations in Tahrir Square with all the protesters demanding the U.S. extradite that filmmaker to Egypt so he could be put to death. This is not, let's blame the leaders. That is a groundswell of public consensus regarding the primacy of their religious symbols over free expression. I don't know who else to blame, right? Who do we blame for this then? If I can't say Islam's responsible, I can't say Muslims responsible. Who's responsible for it?
Um, I mean, that's the point. I think is that you're just supposed to shut up.
Right.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, I
They
know.
they are they're to blame.
So, I mean, the thing is, I'm struck in particular by that comment by KG tonight where she basically said, "Look, Eric, she acted as though I were applying coercion towards her. Is how she acted. She
What do
basically said, "Look, I'm whatever, Eric, whatever you want, Eric, whatever. Just take down that video of the in which you insult the prophet." But as we talked off camera before, I'll mention it again. I didn't insult the prophet, right? I drew a picture. I drew some lines on a paper and wrote the word Muhammad on it. That's not the prophet, is it?
It's
Is
the most
that?
common name in the world. Why can't it be any other Muhammad's?
But what I'm saying is, even if I say it's a picture of the prophet, it's still not the prophet, right? Does it look like the actual Muhammad looked like? If we know
Well,
what he looked like,
the
I don't know.
law, if the law is not to make, I don't think it's. I mean, you're drawing a distinction that doesn't need to be drawn because the problem is that it says right there in the Quran not to draw the prophet. So who's? I mean, I don't feel a single tiny bit of obligation to the prophet.
Right. So the thing is, they actually weren't making those arguments, right? They were trying to be. They're smart people. These people who are watching Talking with Famous People, they're Muslims who are obviously highly educated Muslims. They talk about interesting things with me. If we're not talking about Islam, we get along great. I have no problem with them. And I don't have a problem with them when we are talking about Islam. I don't have a problem with them then either. they have a problem with me, then that's when they have a problem with me because I'm talking shit about their religion. And they find it an inadequate solution that I tell them it's okay. You can talk as much shit about my beliefs as you want.
Would you eat a 7-hour-old sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin?
Has it been in the fridge?
No. McDonald's doesn't reheat well.
It's yeah,
I think I'm going to eat it.
yeah. I'd eat it. I'd eat it. 7 hours is fine.
That's what I think.
Yeah, 7 hours is fine.
I've gone way longer with pizza.
There's no mayonnaise on it. You should be fine.
Fuck mayonnaise.
Yeah, I hate mayonnaise. Do you hate mayonnaise too?
Especially I mean, they got now sriracha mayonnaise and stuff. That stuff's kind of good. But yeah, mayonnaise, just the white gloop.
Here's my one exception. The one thing that's good with mayonnaise on it: hamburger.
No.
A little bit. A little bit.
I've got one exception too, and I can't think of it right now.
Is it your mom's face?
I've always got Chipotle, or the Chipotle sauce, and there's so many variants on mayonnaise now that I'm not really faced with the mayonnaise issue anymore. Like, do I want it dry? Because I like mustard on hot dogs and hamburgers, but not on sandwiches.
Hamburgers, ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise. Hot dogs, ketchup, mustard. Sandwiches, mustard, no ketchup, no mayonnaise.
Ketchup and mustard on hot dogs and hamburgers. Or barbecue sauce on the burger.
Okay.
And then a mayonnaise variant on the sandwich. Spicy mayonnaise, chipotle mayonnaise, sriracha mayonnaise. A mayonnaise variant. Unless it's an Italian sub, then you get oil and vinegar.
Okay. On the sandwich, my variant here is I don't have any sort of mayonnaise replacement, but I do go with the mustard and not oil, but a shitload of vinegar. So this is my Subway. When I go to Subway, that's how I order it. I get olives, spinach, lettuce, and sometimes I'll get onions, and that's it for the vegetables. And then I'll have them put salt and pepper and a bunch of fucking vinegar and mustard on it. That's it.
Spinach?
Oh, I want more lettuce than they give me. And even when I say give me extra lettuce, they still don't give me enough lettuce. So I say, give me lettuce, give me extra lettuce. Now can I have spinach too?
The problem is they can't keep the lettuce in the fucking sandwich.
Because it's shredded too small.
I think
Shredded
they're
the wrong shape. It's the wrong shape.
And they just slice the bread, you know. There's no geometry applied to the cutting. Just zoop. It's like you're a sandwich artist all day long, and you haven't figured out that if you cut too far on the ends, everything falls out the sides. Your job's harder, my job's harder.
So you want the very ends of the bread not to be cut through? So it makes more of like a pocket?
I want them to cut the whole sandwich. I do want them cut, but if they could just scoop the knife up at the end so that you got like a 1/4 inch maybe increase.
Right. Yeah, I got you. It sounds like a good idea. I like it. It's in a stage of development which is metamorphosizing into a pita. But very early stage of development. Just its first hint of its pita's change coming in, you know.
The problem with pitas is you can't see what you're biting into.
The other problem with pitas is it's not good bread.
Yeah, it tastes like shit. But the conceptual problem with the structure of a pita is that you don't know what the fuck your mom or grandma put in there. And it's probably whatever's about to go bad.
But if you make it yourself, it's not a problem.
Yeah, but I don't do a lot of that anymore.
Right. All right. Well, as long as we're going breads, it makes sense. Let's talk tortillas. Flour or corn?
Flour, but not. I don't have a strong stance on flour. I'm mildly flour.
Okay. I'd say I'm the same. I say I'm still mildly flour. I used to be strongly flour, and I've come to appreciate the virtues of corn. Uh, now, are you are you down to put things that are not normal burrito things into a tortilla? Would you put like, you know, uh, what's it called? Uh,
Pepperoni.
no, I was saying like pot roast. Would you like put pot roast in a burrito in a tortilla and eat it like that, or is that not okay?
Like, it's basically carnitas, kinda.
Yeah. See, I don't like putting non-Mexican things in tortillas.
I don't regularly, but I don't have any qualms with it.
I mean, the pot roast would be fine if it also had like beans and salsa in there, right? So then,
Right. I mean, you got to drain it. It can't have like cooked carrots and shit in it.
yeah, I don't want to eat
And
non-burrito in a burrito, right? I don't want to make non-burrito stuff into a burrito.
so I guess the only time I did invent. And I don't know that anyone likes it except for me and my old roommate Scotty. He's a dirty motherfucker sometimes. Is the pizza quesadilla? The pizzadilla. It's just a quesadilla with way too much mozzarella cheese and way too much pepperoni.
It sounds good.
It's good. You
I invented a
might
dish too.
fold it, you get the big tortillas, put on a mound of shredded mozzarella cheese because you know it melts down.
Uh huh.
Layer that motherfucker in pepperonis. One half of it. Layer one half so that you can fold it.
Well, okay.
And
Well,
then
why not just put another tortilla on top?
because a microwave pepperoni doesn't crisp really, so you gotta hold. Then you gotta hold it at an angle and let it run off for a while.
Okay.
So, but during the run off, it's
You mean
all
you're letting those
cool.
juices go to those juices go to waste? You gotta save those to make a sauce out of
God damn it! I hate when people do that.
them.
I hate that so much. I don't know why people
Make
do.
sauce out of the juices?
Or like bacon grease.
I
I
save
know
it.
that I don't. I can't save it. I can cook. I can fry eggs in it in the moment. But this was something that like I had a zero tolerance policy with Katie when she started cooking her redneck bake her shit and putting cans of bacon around my house.
Bacon grease goes in
I
the
did not.
freezer. The only place you can possibly keep it is the freezer.
Well, unless you get distracted and leave it on the counter or put it in the wrong cabinet. Yeah, after finding a can of bacon grease in the wrong spot twice, that's way too much.
Yeah, you don't want to find bacon grease around random
Also,
places.
scooping it it just
Yeah,
I
I know. To be honest, I don't have a jar of it in the freezer right now. I historically kept it, but I kept it in this gravy boat thing, and I lost that gravy boat somehow after I cleaned out the old bacon grease I was gonna clean. I don't know what happened to it. So then I never started. I never
you
started
probably
collecting.
pulled out something else after it.
I never started collecting bacon grease again because I didn't have that container anymore that I was regularly using. But
You're
regardless,
happier now, aren't you?
what?
And you're happier now, aren't you? Because that's one less thing you got to do when you cook bacon. And, okay, the dutiful. I'm invested at this point. I've got half a can of bacon grease built up.
Well, see, I actually find it more difficult now to deal with the bacon grease because before I knew what to do with it. Now I have to wait for it to get cool enough to go pour it in the trash can outside.
Pour it in the yard.
I don't. It makes. I don't want my house around my house to start smelling like bacon. That's the
You,
bacon house. Don't go over there. It stinks like bacon over there.
are you the one guy who likes all your neighbors?
Do I don't. I don't have any problems with any of my neighbors. I only know two of them. I never see any of the other neighbors.
Well, then it's their yards. They're not using them.
Yeah. I,
I
I,
said,
let's just leave it at that. I'm not even gonna go into that little story there.
the default
So
of most people to avoid conflict will let you pour bacon grease all over their yard. You just gain more territory. You could have someone come survey it out.
well, see, around here, I'm pretty sure if I poured it in any of the yards that are immediately over a fence of mine, they wouldn't notice because they never go outside. They never go out in their backyard. So why would they ever notice anything? They have gardeners come once a week to garden their backyards, but the people who live in the house never set foot back there. So I don't know. You know, why have a yard and why have gardeners garden it if you're never going to go back there at all?
I don't know.
But regardless, I'll tell you about double cheese goodness. It's a dish I invented back in college, and it was intended to be maximum food, minimum dollar, right? And this is what you start with. You get rice. You have to cook the rice first, separately. Okay, so cook it, and then you got your 2 cups of cooked rice, and then you get 2 cans of pork and beans. You can get the cheapest store brand pork and beans if you want. Yeah, no problem. You get 1 can of stewed tomatoes. Now, you shouldn't put the whole can of stewed tomatoes in. Though. There's too many tomatoes then. But you should put just a couple of stewed tomatoes in, you know? But, okay, then you get 1 can of, this is optional too, it grew over time. But I like the addition of the corn. Some people didn't like the addition of the corn. In the original incarnation, it was just pork and beans, rice, ketchup instead of stewed tomatoes. And then later it was ketchup and stewed tomatoes. So anyway, the corn niblets can go in there too if you want. But then okay, so now you got the rice, you've got the pork and beans. Those are your key 2 ingredients. You put them together in a big wok, right? You pour a bunch of teriyaki sauce on top of that and a bunch of soy sauce on top of that. And you stir fry that until it's all mixed together into a big brown mush. Now, like I said, you can either have stewed tomatoes and the corn in there, but if you would use pure version, you wouldn't even have those. You just have the rice and the beans, pork and beans. Then what you do is you put all that mush into a casserole dish, and on top of it, you layer thick slices of white and yellow cheese all across it. And then
like American singles?
No, like, you get like store brand cheddar and store brand Jack, yeah. And you cut them and slice it. You use like 2 whole pounds of cheese to cover the thing, right? And you bake it then. Now everything in there's already cooked, so you only need to bake it for about 20 minutes, a little bit less. You know, just make sure that all the moisture gets cooked out of it a bit more, so it's got a little crispiness to it. Anyway, then when you get it out of the oven, I always suggested, and still believe it to this day, that it's best served cold. But if I didn't mention before you put it in the casserole dish, when you stir fry, you have to squirt some ketchup into it too. So that especially if you don't put the stewed tomatoes, I think ketchup's probably better. So it's ketchup, teriyaki, soy, rice, pork and beans, and it comes out of the oven, and you have this casserole. So I say then you cool it, you cut it into squares, and you put paste pecani sauce on top of it, a square. Now 1 square of this food, double cheese goodness, a small square, will make you completely full. You will be full after eating a square that would seem to be too small to fill you up. Because this is the most filling brick of food you'll ever have, right? And it's very low cost. And it's good, too. If you put paste pecani sauce on it, it's better cold than it is hot. So it's perfect. Like, is there double cheese goodness in the fridge? My college housemates used to ask me that periodically. Not because they liked it, right? I've heard several people tell me they don't really like it. But what they did like was how you could eat lunch by going into the fridge and pulling out 1 pre-cut out square size, this big, and eating it really quick, and then you're full all the way until dinner time. That's what they liked about it.
That sounds like my Adderall wisdom.
Is that Adderall wisdom? That was pre-Adderall, by the way. That's before I ever did any speed.
Well, I tried to teach people that you're going to do a lot better if you force yourself to eat something easy like an orange. I can't find my smokes.
Oh,
that's why I'm wandering around the house. Something easy like an orange and 2 hard-boiled eggs. Because that's a dense ball of protein.
All right. Well,
and don't overthink it. Don't try to figure out. Don't like eggs. I'm not a huge egg person either. Just cook 2 hard-boiled eggs and eat them. And shut the fuck up and stop bitching. Just get it done with. You're not going to enjoy eating at all. Anything. There's nothing that will be good to you.
Right. Yeah, I will often say to myself, I don't want anything. There's nothing good to eat. Nothing quick. Nothing instant. Just cut off a big slice of that cheddar cheese right there. Eric can eat it.
Do you eat a
Fine.
lot of cheese?
I do. I got
I do.
Tillamook. I got through the block, pretty quickly actually. I got this block not that long ago. This is my diet. Steak and cheese. Eric's diet.
What is the
Frozen
what is that? What's in your
steaks.
right hand?
These are
Oh,
New York strip. Bone in. I get the
yeah.
bone
Okay.
in for the dog. Tillamook cheese. This is the best kind of cheese. Here's my unpaid advertisement for cheese. If you're like host Eric, you enjoy a fine aged cheddar. I recommend Tillamook Sharp Cheddar Cheese. It's very delicious.
I like Great Value. I mean, I don't know if we have that your kind of cheese here, but cheaper cheese is generally better, I think. Um, we don't have that brand of cheese here, but I like
I,
Great Value.
yeah. See, I try to get things that don't go bad. That cheese stays good for like 6 months. You can keep it, but it never lasts that long for me. But the expiration date is way down the line, and those steaks can be frozen. There's no milk in my fridge. There's no eggs in my fridge. There's no things that go bad in my fridge.
We eat a lot of cereal.
Well, you have a kid. You have to have things in your fridge when you have a kid. I used to have things in my fridge, but nowadays I can eat. My diet can be comprised of nothing but cheddar cheese and steaks.
There was a time. It was when I had more time to cook, though. I just don't have the time and the energy to do everything and want to cook myself a meal.
Well, I mean, you seem to be up very late, and I'm sure you work like a 40-hour week or something. Do you not get enough sleep?
No.
Does it bother you sometimes?
It's probably. I'm sure it affects my mood, and I'm sure it affects me. It never takes me out of the game. I mean, it's not like some people just can't operate without enough sleep. I come from a long line of uh, of insomniacs who don't suffer in silence all that well.
Interesting. All right, let's stop this video. And thanks for watching Talking to Famous People.